Okay, we're going to look at some Ironjawz lists. I feel like I have enough information now. I can't really do anything based on points, right? But I can sort of get a sense. You know, we know what the core rules are. We know what the battle plans are. We know what... Like, we have a lot of information at this point. Oh, no. My Warhammer app is old. Did that happen to y'all? Is there a new one? Oh, well... Don't matter to me. So what I have in front of me here is I have my my phone with old Ironjawz War Scrolls and old Ironjawz point values, and we're gonna write some lists, but we're gonna leave a healthy amount of extra room to adjust, like to account for any adjusting point values, because we know that points are going up, so we can sort of make some predictions about what's, you know, whatever, and we'll go from there. Thanks to all my patrons. Thanks to my boss patron, Philip. You demand. Thanks to Baron of Dice for supporting the channel, and to Iberian for providing art for the channel. Big fan. Okay. Hey, how you doing? So we're going to open up Tabletop Simulator so we can sort of visually get an understanding of what we're looking at here. I feel like that's the best way to do this. And then we can also just like make it go nicely in here so I can still see all the great chat. Okay, so the thing with Ironjawz right now, hold on, faction, nope, Goonhammer faction review, Ironjawz. Goonhammer is a good resource for this here. Oh geez, oops, what did I just hit? Oops, I'm just a mess today. Faction pack overview, Ironjawz. So there's two different ways I think that we could build an Ironjawz list here. One is going for more like an Ironjawz brawler, more aggressive attack sort of style, and the other one is going like a weird fist list, where we're going to use this 6-up ward and we're going to keep everything sort of castled up together with our casters. So let's open up some Ironjawz and have a look here. Okay, so let's go with like a more aggressive, like a more traditional Blood Tooth list. So what does it actually look like? Well, we have to make some assumptions here about what kind of heroes are going to open up what other kind of heroes. So I have a feeling that the Tusk boss is going to open up all the pigs, and little pigs too. I think that the Maw Crusher is going to open up everything. I think everything will follow the Maw Crusher. Maybe not some of the shamans or some of the other foot heroes, but I have a feeling that the Maw Crusher is going to open up almost everything. And then the infantry heroes are going to open up the infantry. I mean, like, is that a reasonable kind of assumption? Where it's like, you know, infantry heroes open up infantry, cavalry heroes open up cavalry, and then big heroes open up everything. Gordrak for sure, regular Maw Crusher not sure. Well, like, here's a question for you. Like, what wouldn't the Maw Crusher bring with him? I could see, like... I can't think of anything that would be like, oh yeah, like not this. You know? It's like, I don't know. But again, brutes, all kind. But like, what about Ardboys? Like, why wouldn't he open up? Oh, like you think he won't bring brutes? Then what does? Like, it makes sense for a mega boss on foot to only do infantry. Right? And it makes sense for a Tusk boss to do all of the, like, cavalry. You know? Like an Ardboy boss. I think War Master would open up everything? I think probably. I think that because they have to be your general. Like, there's got to be a pro. Right? Thanks for the first time chat, by the way. But, regular Maw Crusher brings brutes, Ardboys boss brings Ardboys. Yeah, but, like, it would be bad if... It would be bad if the only way to get Ardboys was with an Ardboy boss. It's like a tax, and it's really limiting list building, and I think they're trying to get away from that. Remember, though, you don't have to give your heroic trait to your general. No, yeah, I remember, but it's more like I don't want to if I want to bring Ardboys, I don't want to bring a boss. Like, I don't want to have to do that every time. To me, that seems bad. If I bring, like, I want to be able to sort of pick my heroes and my units and not be super tied together. Right? It's like, well, I want to bring, like, a reinforced unit of Ardboys. Okay, so then it's like, here's, like, the 4 or 5 different heroes that can bring Ardboys. Right? And then it's like, well, which one of those like, I have to bring one of those heroes, so which one am I bringing? And then what other units does the hero that I'm bringing open up? So what else can I fit into that regiment? Right? Yeah, unit type are more siloed now, but I hope that they're fairly open. Right? Like, if I'm thinking about Ardboys, it's like, yeah, well, I hope it is. I mean, they're putting a restriction on it. They're saying that, well, it has to be your general. And then my mind goes to thinking, like, well, why? It's like, it's not tied to heroic trait, right? There's nothing tied to the heroic trait there. So then what, like, what's the limiting factor? Or, like, what's the pro of that? Because they're making you pay a cost with War Master. So then the pro is that it opens up everything. Anyway, so that's all kind of beside the point. So I think, so if we're going to build like a more of a Bloodtooth list, I think we're going to have to either bring a Maw Crusher or a Tusk boss. I haven't seen a Tusk boss, but I have a feeling that I'm going to want to bring a Maw Crusher. I think I'm going to want a Gouger and a Hackin' Crew. Are these both the same? What are these? Are these both Gougers? No, this guy has a dude on the side. Okay, so this is a Gouger and a Hackin' Crew. I think we're going to want both of these. Okay, so I think if we're going to do like a pig, like a Bloodtooth style list in 4th, I think that this is sort of where we're starting. Something like this. And I think that we're bringing the Maw Crusher again just so we can unlock the pigs. Like, this is like a regiment. Right? Maw Crusher and 2 pigs. We could use the Tusk boss if we run out of points. Right? You might have to downgrade to a Maw Crusher because of points. So, okay, so we have like a big heavy hitter and we have some flankers covered. So what we're missing now is some actual dudes on the front line. So I think it'll be a reinforced unit of brutes and a unit of Ardboys. Now, if we have a list like this, how much do we want to be, like, clogging up the center? Do we want to be shoving, like, just a solid anvil right up the middle? If this unit charges, then pick 3 Maw Gruntas units within 12 to gain 1 momentum score. That's bad. Is that what it is? If this unit charges, then pick 3 Maw Gruntas within is it within 12 or wholly within 12? I guess, I don't know. To gain 1 momentum score. That's bad. They're gonna have full momentum all the time. They're gonna have full momentum, and I don't think we want to play Gougers like that. I don't think they want to be like, well, like, yes. Yes, they will. Hold on. Faction, focus, Ironjawz. Let's pull it up. Let's close this down. So this is the list that we're playing, right? Like, we're leaning into a Maw Grunta list. Okay, so, like, we're gonna be putting our resources into the Maw Gruntas. Like, that. This is part of our game plan. We're running big, scary pigs. Okay, each time this unit uses a charge ability, it gains 1 momentum point. Each time it uses run ability, it gains 2 momentum points. It can have a maximum of 3 momentum points once per turn. And then it's -1 or whatever at the end of the turn. Yeah, so if this unit is in combat, it can move a distance up to its move. It can pass through enemy models. So this rampage does not have any keywords that give it any bonuses, right? Yeah. But the thing is that between between Power Through and Carve a Path, this bad boy is charging every turn. Right? Like, your Carve a Path doesn't rely on a die roll. And so every single movement phase, right? If this unit is in combat, you're going to you're going to do power through, which means every single one of your movement phases, or every single one of your combat phases, it's going up to 3. Okay? So on turn 1, if this thing doesn't charge, it's running for 2 points. Okay? And then from that point forward, it's always going to have 3. If it charges on turn 1, which is unlikely, it's going to have 2, but then on your next combat, it's going to have 3. And then, like, it's going to be stuck at 3. Right? Yeah, but I'm not sure full momentum on turn 1 is good. Like, is that good enough to be like, well, and like, these things only move 10 inches. I know they have Mighty Destroyers, right? So they can move like 13, but they can't run and charge. I can't think of anything in the book that gives them run and charge. They could potentially get a 3... No, they can't get a 3d6 charge. They could get +1 to charge. They could get +2 to charge. And 2 momentum is fine. Well, no, but I don't think you can... Like, the 3d6 charge is if you overcharge that get 'em beat. And so, like, you can't plan around... Yeah, but Kragnos... Like, I'm just pretending that Kragnos don't exist. I'm just pretending that he... Yeah, I know, but he's going to be too... Like, I hope he's too many points. Like, I don't want him in the game. I don't want Kragnos in the game. He's so expensive, and if he's good, he's just going to dominate the list. I know, but he's not going to be more than 800 points. Okay, well, 720. Like, I made this video before. It was like... I mean, I know that it was for 3rd edition, right? But it was Maw Crusher compared to Kragnos compared to the Gatebreaker. He's way better than he is right now. Yeah, I don't know. But just for... I mean, like, whatever. But I'm just going to ignore the Maw Crusher for now. Or, sorry. I'm just going to ignore Kragnos for now. Right? Because if he's super good and super strong and his points are right and he opens up a bunch of stuff, like, if he's good, I think the list builds itself. It's like you run a bunch of pigs and you run Kragnos and you smash. Right? And a Kragnos list is like just a fast, aggressive, punchy list. Right? So I feel like I can just sort of put him to the side and not think about him too much, right? Is kind of how I'm feeling about it. But without a Tusk boss, I think that the Mogrunta is going to be able to sit at 3 momentum the entire time. I don't think it'll be hard. Between power through and carve a path and counter charge and all that, like, you won't be sitting there on 0 momentum and being like, oh, like, it's just not going to happen. Carve a path means that every single turn you get to charge, no matter what. Right? It can't end the movement in combat. It gets a free retreat. It gets a free retreat where it deals 2 up D3. Right? Oh my god. Never mind. On a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target. Then this unit gains 2 momentum points. Carve a path gives 2 momentum. Oh, I'm sorry, my fans. You guys can hear my fans, eh? In the background when they're on. Carve a path gives 2 momentum. Why do you need anything to buff momentum? It's like, if you charge on turn 1, you're at 2 momentum. Nope, you're at 1 momentum. Oh, I don't know, maybe. You're like... You charge... If you charge on turn 1, you have 1 momentum. And then at the end of the battle round, you go down to 0, and then you're at 2 momentum. But I mean, like, whatever. Charger run, this momentum is 2. Once per turn, any charge. I mean, I don't know. I think the difference between having 2 momentum and 3, like, on turn 2, if you charge on turn 1, on turn 2, this thing is going to carve a path and then charge and be at 3 momentum. Like, you know, like, do we really need help? Is his control score 10? I mean, that could be a reason. I don't know what the Maw Crushes is. Anyway, I feel like we can kind of work off a little bit of an archetype here. Right? Like, if this is Kragnos or if this is the Tusk boss, I think that going with a Gouger and a Hack and Crew is probably the way to go. Oh, 15. I can see a battle formation with Tusk boss, Hack and Crew, and 3 Gougers. Yeah, sure. Like I said, like, if you wanted to go like really hard into the big pigs, you just run a whole bunch of big pigs, and then something that is gonna unlock them. Tusk boss, Hack and Crew, 2 Gougers, Craggy. I would hate that list to play. But you're missing out on all your casters. Like, I know that Hack and Crew, like, I know that the damage from momentum is super high, and you might not need any buffs, but yeah, I mean, that's the argument, right? It's like, do you actually need all those buffs, or is it enough? Like, is it enough that you have, you know, just momentum and the pigs? If that list is good, by the way, the points are going up. If the best Ironjawz list is like just monsters, a monster mash list, points go up, I think. Anyway, this what I have on the table here, this is 1320 points. So if we bring another unit of Ardboys, we're at 1510. This list isn't good. This list isn't good. This list needs heroes. It does, yeah. What I'm at right now is 1510. And so I could slot in one more hero, but no, I'm actually higher than that because I didn't factor in these pigs. I don't like... Assuming regular Maw Crush is down in points. We'll see. If there's no Fasten and there's no Destroyer, he should be down in points. Because he's... If it's just like... I have to see what his actual abilities are. Because he used to be like really, really good. But... So he didn't get any bonuses to his save. I hope he's down in points. But this list just doesn't work. I think these brutes gotta go. I haven't seen a single one yet either. I have a feeling that they don't exist. So what if this is like a reinforced unit of Ardboys, just to be like a center, and we take a weird nub shaman? Because we're gonna get, if we have 20 Ardboys, we're gonna get the bonus to cast, or the extra power level, right? And then these guys probably open up each other, right? And these guys open up each other. And then what does that put us to in our points here? Weird Nub Shaman, Mega Boss, Reinforced Ardboys. We're at 1320 here. Brutes are gonna deal more damage, I think. Brutes are amazing. Do a 1700 list? Well, it's gonna do like a 1600, 1700 list. Is what I'm gonna do. This looks so thin to me, though. Like, if you're from what I understand, from what I've seen, and I've just heard this in rumors, but there's a lot of anti-monster in this game right now. So with a lot of anti-monster, I don't know how big you want to be running, like how many monsters you want to be running. I still have about 300 points left here. What is this list missing? I don't know how I feel about the Gruntas. I deleted them by accident. I don't know how I feel about Gruntas. I was kind of underwhelmed. There's not too much anti-cavalry, I think. Well, but from what I remember seeing, their anti-cavalry is 1 rend, right? +1 rend is not amazing. +1 damage is amazing, but +1 rend is not that great. There's no War Chanter in this list. It needs a War Chanter. I think every list is going to take at least 1 War Chanter and 1 Weird Knob. The buffs are just too good. Maw Crushes are expensive. Where Alec, this is like, it's too elite. Although I guess that's kind of what we're going for. This right here is 1340. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna kind of wait until I get the official ones. Like, I appreciate Markfia, all of your work and posting stuff, but it's like someone reads it off a screen, says it out loud, and then other people copy them down, and then it's like there's too many points where like a human error could come in. And so like I'm kind of waiting until, like, it's nice just to see them or whatever, but in terms of like making content and whatnot, like I'm kind of waiting for what I just got for Gits the other day, where the Honest War Gamer went through and showed and people took screenshots, and so it's like, well, this is what it is, right? Like I can see it for myself. Those units probably stay the same in points, I think, by deduction. A lot of armies are going to look too elite if they want to take elite synergy. Yeah, and that's probably a good thing, right? But I think that this right here, reinforced Ardboys with a Shaman and a War Chanter, I think this is going to be a very typical thing that we see in Ironjawz. Just because extra power level is, I think, really, really strong. An extra power level is really, really strong. Right? So it's like, hey, I have 20 models that protect my caster. It's like, well, like, that's amazing, right? And then a War Chanter is also going to be, I think, pretty much necessary, just because of how powerful the prayers are and how good the War Chanter is. And so with this, it's like, this little core right here, I think, is going to be pretty common. And then from here, the question then becomes like, do you want to go with more like casters and chanters and more infantry? Like, do you want to have an infantry-focused list, or do you want to go for like a more biggie piggy kind of focus list? Because I think if you're going to go for the thing with if you're going to go for pigs, I think the thing is that the Ironjawz brawler, it's like, well, every time you charge, you get a chance to get +1 attacks. And carve a path means that for the Hacken crew anyway. Oh yeah, that's right. For the Hacken crew anyway, you're gonna get to try to do this charge every single time. Does the Grunta and the Tusk boss, what are their rampages? Ardboy boss can be a solid choice also for the ability to rally more Ardboys long-term games. Yep. What does he do again? Does he just add dice to rally? I don't know, dude. Like buffing command points. So it's not even 1 more Ardboy. Right? It's not 1 more Ardboy. It's 1.5 more Ardboys. That's what the Ardboy boss is giving. That's pretty weak. right? That's weak. And he doesn't count for Weird Fist, right? Because it's Shaman and Priest. Or Wizard and Priest. So 3 extra rally dice is kind of garbage. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but you roll your dice, and for every 4 up, you get a point. And then you either heal those points or recur those points. You can do some combination of 2, right? So if I get 3 4-ups, I can heal 1 and bring 1 back. Is that right? Or do you have to pick one or the other? But 3, like, anything that buffs a command point, I don't think is going to be super good because there's so many options for command points. What if you're like, well, I didn't need the rally, right? Or what if you're like, the rally was something I thought about, but instead I used my command points for these other things. Like, I think base is 1 on rally Ardboys stat-wise. It better not be the only ability. I can't remember, but like, if it's like, hey, if you use all-out attack, you also get +1 to wound. It's like, that's not good. Like, what if I don't want to use all-out attack? We're not throwing all-out attacks like we did in 3rd. Like a buff to a command point is like, it kind of pigeonholes you in. It's like, if I'm not using this, it's not getting. He improves shield bash as well. See, that's different, right? An improved shield bash. Now I have to sit down and do the math on what that shield bash buff looks like compared to what other abilities look like that also buff damage. Right now we're kind of talking. If it's like shield bashes are on a 5-up instead, while I'm throwing 20, right? So it's like, well, there's extra mortal wounds. Do I have to roll for it? Is there any way that my opponent can interact with it? Is it just like a passive? What's the range? Like, now I can start thinking about it and talking about it. But 3 extra rally dice is not good. Like, that ability is just like, I don't care. That's the ability I forget about because I never use it. Okay. So this list that I have here right now is 1340. So we got about 300 more points. I don't think we take another big pig. I kind of think we cap at 3. I have a feeling that they're all going to have rampages, and that every one of their rampages is going to say army. Once per phase, army. I also don't think that you can reinforce gougers anymore, because they were always monsters. Can you reinforce them? Can you reinforce a gouger in 4th? Is there any reason to think you can? Is there any reason to think you can't? Is that even a smart move? Can't reinforce singles in 4E? That's kind of what I figured. I kind of figured you wouldn't be able to. And so, I think that maybe it's best just to run all 3, like just one of each. Right? Okay. So then from here, I think what you have is you either do something like, you do some combination of this left over. Right? You do something like this. Some combination of this. I just want a plain one. I said I want a plain one. Thank you. Jesus. Was that hard? Jesus. This is 3 drops. Well, Tusk Boss is the general with these 3. And then, so it's 3 in a regiment, including. The general can have 4 total, including himself, right? And all the other heroes can have 3. 3 drops is probably fine. I think 3 drops might be the norm. If you wanted this to be 2 drops, you could do this. Right? And then here's kind of your setup. It's like you have like, oops. You're like this, right? I missed the button that just put terrain out. Right, you're doing something like this. For my test games, me and my opponent always had 3. So 2 if you play, you want an alpha. I don't think this list alphas. I think, I mean, when I think Alpha Strike, what I think is that everything in the list is moving. Like you're sort of attacking with the bulk of your army. This is a 2-drop list. So it's either like, I doubt alphas are a thing anymore. Why? I mean, if any army is going to alpha, it's going to be Ironjawz. What's the argument for no alphas? I mean, I could see the argument being something like, well, just in general, there's a lot fewer, like, silly shenanigans. Like, no more teleporting outside of 12, mighty destroyers, and then charging. So it's like the ability to actually get in is a little bit smaller, right? Just like overall, they're sort of reducing that kind of stuff. But here's a Gouger, right? The Gouger's going to move, on my first turn, he's going to move 3 inches, and then he's going to move 10 inches. He can't run and charge, and so from here, he's like at least an 8-inch charge away. Double turns will be way less frequent. Alpha pins will still be pretty viable. You want to get time to set up priests. Yeah, but you could still be doing that in the background. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I don't think that alpha strikes are going to be as big of a thing, right? But I still think that they could totally. I still think they could totally be a thing. Whatever, this map is bad, but whatever. Actually, I don't care about that. But I think that, like, these pigs, I think that, like, this as a core of a pig list, I think looks really good. I think. With this is 1310. This is 1310 right now. And then from here, it's like... We have tons of resilience. Well, we have 3-up saves. We have 3-up saves across the board. And I don't, like, we're not going to see a lot of other, like, we're going to be one of those 3-up save armies that are like 20% or fewer of armies. Right? Like, we are going to be pretty thick. So from here, like I was saying, you can take, yeah, this list is missing like a second kind of wave. Like, it's missing just like some real punch. So it's Gorgruntas and it's Ragers and Rekkas in some combination, or maybe a Maw Crusher. Like, I could see this list with just like a Maw Crusher. Can I though? I mean, maybe. Ironjawz might be really good hitting things if you bounce the counter will strike card. You don't have money. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think of a list like this? Like, maybe not. It's either going to be a Maw Crusher or Gouger or Chanters needed in every list. I think I think that your beats are just... I think if you run any, like, well, think about this for a sec. Okay, so, and in this one we're taking Ironjawz Brawl, and maybe Mega Bossy. You could maybe take an eye for the fight and stick it on a dude in the front. Mega Bossy maybe too, but probably not. I like an eye for the fight. Well, Killabeat is so good. Killabeat is so good. Like, the difference between a unit of Ardboys and a unit of Ardboys with Killabeat is insane. Right? Like, we're doubling the damage output of the unit. And prayers are non-interact. Priests can get rid of manifestations. Sure, that's another reason. We're going to see lots of manifestations. So you're telling me that a priest in my enemy... No. When can a priest... Do they have to sacrifice their chant? Like, it's their chant to get rid of a manifestation? On a CP. You have to spend a CP to get rid of a manifestation? But can you do it in your... yeah, but that sucks. Command points are so valuable. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to, like, countercharge for Ironjawz. I want to redeploy. I want to redeploy and countercharge a lot. You know? I want to, like... That's what I want to do. I don't want to, like, rally. I want to move on the table. I want to reroll my charges. Yeah, but we lack... Do we want to countercharge or Mighty Destroyers? I need to be hero phase. Mighty Destroyers doesn't cost us command point. I mean, we're always going to Mighty Destroyer, but if they're further than 3... Ironjawz can be a lot more techy this edition, agree. But our prayers and our spells are too good. You know, like, no joke, I would not be surprised if, like, I'm kind of almost leaning where you want to do something like this. Right? Where you have, like, this brick of Ardboys and you put 2 weird knobs behind it, and all of a sudden, you're 4 casts in destruction. You go stand by a place of power, you're 6 casts in destruction. And our spells are really good. Right? Teleport spells, really strong. And bash 'em, lads, is really strong. What endless spells? In this list? In a list like this... I'm generally... For Ironjawz, I'm kind of stuck in 2 different places depending on what kind of list we're writing. Either the one with Gnashing Jaws, Burning Head, and Life Swarm, because I just think it's going to deal the most damage. So we're just going to play, like, just more damage endless spells, because that's damage at range, which is something that Ironjawz can't really do very well. And the other one is essentially Bridge, for a more infantry-focused list. In an infantry-focused list, we're so slow. And if we have lots of infantry, Mighty Destroyers just isn't going to cut it. It's not going to be, like, we're not going to be moving quickly enough. So I think it's going to come down to Bridge. It's like, oh, those 10 brutes or whatever, like, we're just going to, like, teleport them over here. And I know that we have a teleport, but this is another way to think about it as a backup teleport. It's like, we're going to add a lot of consistency to our moving around the table if we can do this. Bridge moves in the movement phase, I think, right? So, can't do it and then Mighty Destroyers, but you're also set up. Can't Mighty Destroyers if you're set up. So, I don't know, Mattis, don't you think that, like... Oh, by the way, congratulations on your employment. I heard about that. Or I read that or whatever. That's pretty cool. But if you're doing like all gruntas, like all big pigs, I think you could get away without casters and priests. Right? Like if I was going to be like, well, I'm going to delete this whole block and instead I'm going to throw in more pigs. It's like, okay. Are you the enemy now? Because are you like... But these abilities are just so strong. Yeah, okay. So I think it'll be this. I think this is essentially the core of the list. And then I think you either take like either Gordrak or you take one of these guys, and then you're going to be taking like either some Gruntas or some Ragers, right? Something like this. And then you might take... Or you might take something like this. You might take another infantry hero, depending on what your play style is. Well, hey, you know who the orc guy is. When they're probably writing the orc book already. They probably already wrote it, to be honest. They probably wrote it when they did this index, right? They probably like split the book and they're like, let's rewrite the rules, and then the 4th edition rules are probably going to stay pretty much, or the 4th edition's book for Cruel Boys and Ironjawz is probably going to stay about the same. They're probably going to like tweak it depending on what happens just before it goes to print, and then probably release some new units. Yeah, I don't know of any other discords or anything that talk about greenskins, like specifically. But like, what do you think? Like, what do you think? Is this like a fair sort of like not like oops all pigs, but is this like a fair analysis for what we're sort of thinking like a pig Ironjawz list will look like? You know, either one of these 2 heroes, one of these 2 hammers, and maybe like some infantry, depending on what we're doing. I'd imagine Ironjawz is early just because of Spearhead. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to get them both when Bone Splitters expire. Right? Like they said a year, that you get Bone Splitters for a year in 4th. So I think we'll get the Orc book after that year. Right? It's like, here's the new Orc book, there's no Bone Splitters. And what's your role again, Mattis? It's like, because it's not, like, what are you working on specifically? Yeah, okay. I feel like this is pretty good. I feel happy with this. Oh, sick. GHBs and battle tomes? That's the best part. That's the best thing you could be working on. Congratulations. Okay, here's another type of Ironjawz. Here's Infantry Ironjawz. So the idea behind the Infantry Ironjawz is that we're going to take the Weird Fist sub-faction or battle formation. So Wizards and Priests give 6 upwards. Wizards and Priests give 6 upwards. So we want more of those, more of those. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's check out what I have for points so far. I'm hoping this style is good. This might be all the points we have, by the way. Yeah, and then we also take a... I need better models for these things. This is 1510. I think that the big pigs are just going to be really good. I have a feeling you'll see 2 big pigs in every list. No joke. Orc player got thick skin. So this is 1670 right now. In 3rd edition points. I like this list personally. What do you guys think of lists like this? The thing I like about these is that we have so much objective control, right? Like this brick is gonna take objectives, and so is this brick. Oh yeah, how many drops? Oh yeah, we probably can't even do this because we don't unlock. It's gonna have to be something more like this. Well, it's 1 drop. 2, maybe two or 3. Well, and everything has a 6-up ward, and these guys are going to zone out, and so you take this and you take Gravetide, right? And then it's like, okay, on turn 1, I'm going to cast. This guy has 2 casts. I'm going to cast. Sorry, not Gravetide. The bridge. I'm going to take the bridge, and I'm going to cast Hand of Gork, and I'm going to take this unit, and I'm going to plop him right here. And it's like you're not. Like, you're just not shifting this. Like, this is going to take this objective, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, because it has the... Like, you need 2 flankers, because, well, it plays great on tactics. Tactics are not hard to play. Tactics are going to be... It's all about denying the tactics. Right? So for tactics, in my opinion, except facing Seraphon, I assume. No, even then, it's like you have a 6-up ward. You know, like you're just gonna be like, there's not a ton of mortal wounds in the game anymore. The number of mortal wounds went down significantly. No, throw as many questions as you can. I'm trying to think, right? I'm trying to think through. Oh, with death spells, right? Yep, that's a weakness, right? This lawn is gonna be difficult. So then you're just doing a lot of running. Right? This list is slow. But hopefully with Mighty Destroyers and 2 teleports. Half focusing while painting, yeah. But the thing, yeah, so if the number of mortal wounds in the game went down, then wards got better. That's a fair assessment, right? It's like, well, there's a lot fewer mortal wounds running around, so all the wards better. Teleports on enemy turn is going to be awesome. Yep, that's why I am playing Cruel Boys. But Ironjawz, I think... Like, I don't think all-out attack and all-out defense matter too much to us. I think redeploy is a big one. Countercharge is a big one. Power through is a big one. Basically, all of the commands that happen on our opponent's face, I think are going to be good. I think no one uses all-out attack anymore. I think it'll be one of those things where it's like you need this to happen. Like you need to deal this damage. That's why on the back of my cue cards I'm putting down the... I'm putting down this. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm putting down like this stuff. I'm going to put down, like on the back of the Gut Rip card, this is what I'm putting. Because I need to know how much damage they deal roughly, and then I need to have like I could put all of this down. Like I could put all of this stuff down if I wanted to. So when I flip my card over, it's like, well, I know that with all that attack, like I need to deal a little bit more than 5 damage. Like 5 isn't enough. I was thinking about getting stats on Discord bot. That'd be cool. I would love that. But then you flip your card, you flip your War Scroll card over, and then on the back it's like, right, this turn I really need to use all that attack because I need to deal 6 damage with these 10 Gut Rippas. Right, and I need to, and it's like really important if I can kill that unit that has 6 wounds left in it, or 6 health left in it, I can win the game, and so I'm gonna use all that attack, but it's gonna be niche. It's not gonna be like a default. How many drops is this? Three. It's 3 drops. Probably. 3 drops is fine. Trying to get into, like 2 drops is going to be better, right? But I'm not that concerned about it. I think that 2, I think this is how it's going to feel. 2 drops always are going to get to go first. 3 drops is going to be our average. Okay? So if you're 3 drops, a lot of the time you're rolling to see who goes first. But against armies that like don't care or do care, you're just going to win and lose. And then if you're a 4-drop list, you have to be prepared to lose all the time. Like if you're a 4-drop list, you are going to very often not get to choose. And if you're 5, you're like, well, I don't care. I'm for whatever reason, like my big wild list was 15 drops or something. And I'm like, I'm just going second. Right? So I think for Ironjawz, I think 2 or 3 is where you want to be. But we could probably get it to 2 drops. Like this is almost a 2-drop list. But like, I don't know. What do you guys think about this play style? Where you're essentially just running, like it could be in different combinations, right? But the idea is that you have three bricks of infantry. And right, in some combination of Ardboys and Brutes. And then you have things on the flank. It could also turn into something like this instead. No, I don't think it can. Oosh, I hate the... I wish that the undo just worked like undo in every other game or in every other application. It just undid the very last thing that she did. But this one is going to be like Maw Crush on the flank is scary. Maw Crushes are scary. Brutes might cost too much. This list might be too expensive. Could very well be the case. I don't know. I don't think everyone seems to think that Brutes are going to go way up in points, but I don't know. They're 4-inch move. Like, they are really good. They're gonna slap. You know? Well, this might turn into something like this, where it's like 1 unit of Brutes, and then it's a unit of Ardboys over on the side. Or it could be that instead of this, what it is your list is more like this. Right? And then this is only... So this is like... This is probably 2 drops. But, again, these lists aren't complete. There's more stuff that's missing. But the thing is going to be what unlocks the big pigs. Right? What unlocks the big pigs? The Tusk Boss, a Maw Crusher. I hope a Maw Crusher does. If it's just the big pig, I think it's going to be... Or if it's just a Tusk Boss that unlocks the big pigs, I think it'll be oops all big pigs or bust. Or like none. Because the Tusk Boss, I don't know. It depends on what the rampage is. The Carve a Path is so strong. And I can't wait to play it. Carve a Path is so strong. And then with this, we're probably taking either Bridge or Jaws. This is the Weird Fist. Probably take an Eye for the Fight. Right? An Eye for the Fight is your techie choice. Right? With your redeploys. Moving him at a minimum of 4 redeploy is just a move for brutes and ard boys. Right? So, like, there's a 66% chance you move 4, and then a slightly... and then you either move 5 or 6. 210 for brutes. Yeah, I don't know. They're slow. I don't know, dude. Maybe the orc armies are just going to be the ones that are like way overpowered at the start of the edition. Like maybe orcs will be S tier armies. The points are going to dictate it for Ironjawz, right? If points are cheap for Ironjawz, they'll be an S tier army. Well, PB1 million, do you play in a place where you have to play with Games Workshop models? I think Cruel Boys are going to be S tier. I think Cruel Boys, Fire Slayers, Idoneth, Deepkin, and Night Haunt are all armies to really watch out for. Like, if you're playing in a tournament this summer, like I am, I'm going to be studying what I think are going to be the best armies first. And it's like, well, what do I do against them? Because I want to be able to... I can beat good players with bad armies pretty easily. Got a tournament a week tomorrow. What are you playing, Cruel Boys? Kragnos and Trug. Oh yeah, okay. Rock Guts are good. We'll have to see. Gotta wait for the points, right? Okay, so what do you think? Like, do you think it's pretty fair for me to say that I think we're gonna see 3 different types of Ironjawz armies? Infantry, oops, all big pigs, and then something in the middle? Like a lot of cavalry, but not like all cavalry. I think we're definitely gonna see some like Grunta Stampede lists, right? Is it fair for me to say that? I think we're gonna see those 3 types of lists. Yeah, and then we're either gonna see Weird Fist, or we're gonna see the like, I just can't imagine that we're gonna see Grunta Stampede, and I can't imagine that we're gonna see Iron Fist. Iron Fist looks like easily the worst one, and Grunta Stampede to me doesn't look good at all either. Gore Gruntas and Maw Gruntas get +1 to their move for each enemy unit that has been destroyed this game. So it's like by turn 3 they'll have +2 move and stuck in combat. Like, this doesn't seem good to me at all. Grunta Stampede. And Iron Fist doesn't seem good to me at all either. They're taking damage out of the game and they're slowing the game down. And so how many times are you going to be attacking and killing a unit and then fighting it again? And this is, don't forget too, it's not smashing and bashing. It's like, you fight, kill a unit, and then your opponent gets to fight. So you're disincentivized here because, like, over here I'm fighting a unit that is really small and only has 3 wounds left. And over here I'm fighting a brand new fresh unit. Well, I want to fight the brand new fresh unit first. I'm not going to kill it, and then over where I have the 3 units, or the 3 models, it's like... Iron Fist with Mighty Destroyers might be cool. I don't know. I doubt it. +1 attacks. Like, this is an Alpha Strike. No, it's not even. Like, I just can't see that this is going to happen. It's just not going to happen. When this would be good, and it doesn't say they get to fight immediately. If it said they got to fight immediately, if it was smashing and bashing, it'd be sick. But probably weaker this edition than last. Right? So it's like... If this was smashing and bashing, I'd be like, okay, like, this is worth considering. But... The next Ironjawz unit gets +1 to their attacks. Yeah, after they get hit. After we get attacked. If you kill a unit. It's incentivizing you to pour resources into things that you probably don't want to pour resources into. It's like, well, now I have to all-out attack. Right? Because I need to kill this thing. So if I didn't get my buffs off, I don't know. A 6-up board is a 6-up board. The only time that the 6-up board is going to feel bad is if you're having a hard time teleporting things around the map. Right? If you're, like, really slow. And then Ironjawz Brawl seems fine to me. You just charge a bunch of units and hope to get, like... 8 up is not that hard. +1 attacks is strong. Overall, they, like, none of them seem, like, really overpowered, but they all seem, like, I don't know. Weird Fist, Brawl seem fine. Hulking Brute's probably bad. An Eye for the Fight's probably the best one. And then Mega Bossy's is takeable if you're going to play that style. Like, if you're like, oh, like, I'm going to take a Tusk Boss, and I'm going to take all big pigs, and I'm going to charge in my Tusk Boss, and then my other big pigs are coming in, and I'm calling my Wah, and I'm Alpha Striking, like, turn 1, turn 2, and everything of mine is going to get in. So they're getting +1 to charge, they're getting +1 momentum, right? And they're getting another +1 to charge from the Wah, right? And I'm Mighty Destroyering things, like, I'm going to Mighty Destroyers my Tusk Boss to make sure that it succeeds. It's like, okay. Like 5 big pigs are coming in turn 2. Alright. Mega Bossy's good. I didn't really like any of the artifacts. 1 Rand is not amazing. The Armor of Gork is fine. A 6-up board is better than it was last edition. And the Trophy Skulls is probably the one to take. I think Trophy Skulls is probably the one to take. If you have a Tusk Boss with an additional +10 score, you said it's 15? Oh my god. So, what is that? It makes it 25? Right? Like, okay. And even on a Maw Crusher, even if it's only 5, like, bumping up to a 15 seems good. Trophy Skulls is probably the way to go. You know, you have your, like, Maw Crusher or whatever lurking around the outside, moving around, right? Not coming in super early. And then when it does come in, it's going to go punch, and it's going to take this objective. When it does come in, right? Like, ha ha ha, where am I going to go? Ha ha ha. I teleport. Ha ha ha. Mighty Destroyers, charge, bam. Seems good and fine. Any last thoughts or last questions on Ironjawz, or should we move on to Cruel Boys? And on another note, anybody have all the Gloomspike gets in one saved object or whatever? Ugh. Alright, like, subscribe, wah.